Today we're going to take a look at the Harley-Davidson press release for the new CVOs. It's available on their CVO Media Kit website. I would suspect this website required a login to get the information, but to my surprise, the link just worked for me. So I put it in the description below, but I want to run through a couple things that it points out that I didn't know about in the early information. So as usual, let's dig in, take a look. All right, so here we are. This is the official press releases for immediate release of the two new bikes. It talks about a lot of things we already know. I'm going to call out just the items that I missed in the early information and some new information I hadn't seen before. But you can read through the article at your leisure for detail. So the first thing, paint. So we know there's two finishes. We've got the whiskey neat and we've got the dark platinum. And I wanted to call out the differences. So the wheels are actually different. So the whiskey neat has a chrome laced wheel. They have a chrome face on them. And the platinum, dark platinum has that darker chrome finish on the wheels. So the wheels look much darker and on the whiskey they look much brighter. So that was something I didn't notice at first. We obviously know the exhaust is different. The whiskey is a chrome and the platinum is a dark chrome, which I really like. But also the pushrod tubes. So the pushrod tubes are that dark chrome and then the chrome on the ladder. And then finally the seat. So there's a CVO logo on the seat. And on the dark platinum, there is a color matched CVO lettering. And on the whiskey neat, it's all black. So I wanted to call that out. Okay, let's keep looking here. That's the paint and the finishes. Okay, here's some specs on the engine. A couple of things on the engine. Variable valve timing. So it's a 3 to 5% fuel economy increase. It does not talk about any performance gain. So I do believe variable valve timing is there just to meet EPA regulation and get them the miles per gallon they're looking for. It can advance the crank up to 40%, and it can advance the camshaft up to 20 degrees. So the big question for me is, what does that sound? Does it add any sound? And I noticed in Robert Simmons' initial release, it might have been actually Cycle Fanatics video, but Robert was commenting, somebody said it doesn't sound like a sewing machine. So really curious to see if the sound's improved with this new motor. And that's going to be key for many people, right? So that is the variable valve timing, 3 to 5%. Let's talk about the cooling. So they have a picture here, which is neat. The one thing I call out about the cooling, right, is it's liquid cooled and oil cooled. And the top of the motor is what's liquid cooled. So we do have a traditional radiator. It's very small, really well hidden. Kudos to Harley. And then there's a fan, we know that, oil cooler fan. And then it mentions in the verbiage here that there's an electric pump that circulates coolant solution first to the hotter rear cylinder head and then to the front cylinder head. So through a new heat exchanger. So that is true liquid cooling, but it's geared to the top of the heads, and I will say Harley hid that sucker well. You really can't tell looking at the pictures. But it clearly is a radiator. So we'll see what we think of that. The fan is an unnecessary evil. I hate it when I pull up on a bike and turn off, the fan continues to run. I always found that annoying and something I never had to deal with an air-cooled engine. But it makes sense, right? You got to cool these things down. So, all right. So that is cooling. Cylinder heads and the camshaft. So first of all, the compression ratio has been increased. So we noticed that. That also helps. They also enhance change things to enhance the torque at a lower RPM, improving fuel economy. Again, that fuel economy word, but also improving torque at lower RPM. I think that's going to be nice. That's a definite change, as I've commented before in my other videos. When you're riding that Milwaukee 8, it really wants to be at that 4,000 RPM. That is where it's happy. It also prevents the oil blow-by, in my experience, to run it at the higher RPM. But I miss my old twin cam, running it 25, 28, 3,000 RPM, lugging along. That was a good feeling. So I think we'll get some of that back. Okay, the camshaft is a higher torque cam that helps here too. And in order to get that higher camshaft in here, they had to update the lifters and the inner cam bearing. So does this mean they went to a Timken bearing? And does it mean that we'll no longer have to change the bearing if you change your cam? What's in that case? It doesn't say, but it says they improved the lifters and the inner cam bearing, and they upped the valve springs to more tension. So that's exciting, right? If you're in the cam upgrades or changing that in your engine, maybe less work this time and less money, right? A new intake here, much more direct flow, which helps with the EPA as well, gives them much more velocity, up velocity by 10.3%. So that's new. Airbox. So the airbox is got no exposed fasteners. We know it's definitely thinner, so it won't run into our knees anymore is the theory. But they made that statement that it had no exposed fasteners. So I thought that was interesting. I wonder if they dealt with the issue of sometimes that blow-by screw on the inside, they'll come loose and then they get sucked into the intake. It's never happened to me, never seen anyone that happened to, but I've heard about it, certainly read about it. So anyway, that was an interesting comment there. 50% flow rate to increase of volume. So that's impressive. Right, charging systems increased. I think I see that almost every few releases, right? The charging increases because they're adding so much electronics to the bike, they got to produce the power. But here's a big one. An improved shift drum with a redesigned neutral pocket geometry in the 6-speed cruise drive transmission makes it easier to select and find neutral on the first attempt. Now, I know in my experience with the Milwaukee 8s especially, I don't really struggle to find neutral like I have on some of the older bikes. I can often hit neutral going from second to first, even on my Milwaukee 8. And I love the clunk of a Harley, and I bet the clunk is still there. But will it truly be easier to find neutral? That'll be interesting to try that out. But that's a neat call out in this document. Okay, and then they talk about weight and the weight savings, where they saved weight, the suspension. Frankly, I don't know, the suspension is nice that we got the extra travel. It's nice that you can adjust it without taking a saddlebag off. But, you know, upside down front forks win. No monoshock, I think kind of a disappointment, but it'll be how it feels. I'm sure it's going to feel like a current touring bike where you've upgraded the suspension already. It's going to feel that way. So maybe you won't feel the need to run out and change it. Not sure. We'll see. Braking, we know Brembo brakes. They've always been Brembo brakes. They've just been rebranding them Harley with the Harley cover. Now they're choosing not to do that, but it's definitely the different design, right? So a lot more braking power and increased rotor size as well. So nothing big there. The LED, so it mentions this, that there's a signature lighting is illuminated for 10 seconds after the vehicle is turned off for a dramatic curbside effect. I tell you what, Harley, I got an idea for you. So Indian is known for having the puddle light. I'm not sure if it's actually still on their current models or not, but that was a big thing when the puddle light came out. So what Harley needs is an approach light. So when you approach your bike with your smart key fob, it should light up the bottom of the bike with a Harley logo. How cool would that be? And then, better yet, make it orange, and then maybe have animated flames. Now, that would be cool approaching one's bike. And if you had an anniversary of your bike, maybe it would have the year of the anniversary showing down there. That's what they should do. I think that would be a much more dramatic curbside effect. The other thing is the turn signals. I have yet to find a video of the streak light turn signals being activated. I'm really curious if they just blink. That is the assumption. But do they, are they sequential? They have a sequential pattern. That'd be a really big win and really cool. I know I think it's a European issue. You can't do that there. But, a Mustang effect of the brake lights where they blink across. That would be really neat. So if Harley doesn't release it here, maybe someone will find a hack for the code in the computer and make that happen for us, because that'd be a real cool addition to that bike. Okay, so the ride modes, there was a couple misstatements, I think, in the video and some of the early verbiage about the ride modes. There are 4. So we have road mode, sport mode, rain mode, which is what we anticipated, and there is a custom mode, so you can make your own. I think that's cool, kind of fun. I really don't know. Will I use those modes? I'm used to doing that all on my own, right? For all my Harley riding life. Will I really find any advantage to those, or I'll probably just leave it in sport mode all the time? I suspect that's what many do. Okay, it also mentions a couple here things in the ergo comments, the air vents. So we did notice in one of the YouTubers' videos that on the Road Glide, those little winglets that hang off to the either side of the fairing, those now turn in and out. So you can either push air away from you, or you can actually turn them in to draw air into you. And I thought that was cool. And then they have those little winglets on the forks as well. So that is there. This line right here, the front brake hand lever is adjustable for reach to best match the rider's hand size or preference. So we have an adjustable lever for the brake. It doesn't mention the clutch. So I kind of think it's only the brake, and we won't see it on the clutch. But that was a little bonus. I wasn't anticipating to see. That's kind of been feedback for years that would be nice. Also talks about the heated grip is adjustable via the grip. So I think there is a button on the end. They show that in the picture where you push the button on the end of the grip to turn them on and off. You don't just have to use the infotainment there. We know the new handlebar for the Road Glide. I think that's a giant win. I think the early YouTubers videos comment how great those handlebars are compared to those buckhorns that we've lived with forever. Okay, a couple electronic things. It does mention CarPlay. All CarPlay protection services from the rider's device may be applied through the display. Android Auto projection services are not available, but Android users may stream music and play and receive calls through the system. So the next line here, read this carefully. Use of some features requires a compatible wireless headset. One headset is shipped with each motorcycle. Now that's true with CVOs. They're shipping the headset because they include the WIM. So there's no WIM anymore, but it doesn't say here, do you have to have a branded Harley headset, or will it work with any Bluetooth headset? It kind of implies you still need a branded headset. I don't know why they would continue in that if they've been dinged for it. It's silly. Allow people to use whatever headset they want. But that's what it says to me in writing here. We'll see what reality is at some point here. I also talked about the speakers. So the saddlebag speakers are 5.7 inches, but there is an optional 6.9, which I'm going to show you in the next article. The accessories, add-ons, parts and accessories already available for the 23 CVOs. Okay, so that is much of the display. I want to talk about this high contrast. So the contrast on the display is auto. So it's supposed to sense the sun and go into high contrast mode. And then when the sun disappears, it's supposed to go back into non-contrast mode. I think that would be nice. I know many riders just ride around in contrast mode. But if that works well and adjusts well, I think that'll be a bonus. So those are some of the things I learned from the press release or the media kit. But in addition, we found out there are some accessories. Let's look at those. All right, so the first thing is the Screaming Eagle Heavy Breather Air Cleaner. So a high-performance air cleaner features an open-face design with a forward-facing filter that flows 20% more to provide a stout increase in torque through the mid-range. So as we saw, I think the ventilator air cleaner kit, there's no logo on the front of it, so it allowed it to flow more air. And then the Harleys, the 114s, come with that ventilator air kit that has the logo on the front that covers up some of that space. So we have that same air cleaner here. And then we have the Extreme Wedge Open Face Design K&N washable filter. So the K&N version, and it flows 22% more. So 2% more than the heavy breather cleaner. It's a K&N, so it's washable. And then Harley-Davidson audio powered by Rockford Fosgate. Okay, so you get the CVO with the top-of-the-line audio system, but you can upgrade it already. So instead of the 5x7 speakers it comes with, you can upgrade to the 6x9 speaker, specifically designed for the saddlebag lids of the 2023 CVO. So it's interesting that they would put a 5x7 in there, but you can upgrade to a 6.9 right out of the gate. It looks like that, it'll plug right into the amp, and I'm sure you just turn it on through the software, but you can increase your rear speakers. I think we all know that the rear saddlebag lid speakers are really great at a light or sitting in your garage or at the parking lot. If you want to play some loud music, but when you're going at any speed, that sound really disappears quickly. So I'm not sure adding a 6x9 over the 5x7 is going to make a whole lot of difference. But if you're in the audio, there you go. You can get the 6x9 speaker from Rockford Fosgate and upgrade that right after you purchase your bike. So windshields. So sure enough, we learned the windshield is not adjustable. There's no adjustment whatsoever. It just bolts on. I really do hope that it's a big improvement as it is stock, but we can tell from the pictures it's not very tall windshield. And so if you're, of any height, my guess is you're going to get the buffeting, though all their advertisement here claims that the buffeting is vastly improved, but we have windshields. So we have the wind splitter windshield options, and they provide a low profile and a tall profile. You can get in dark smoke, and an 8-inch or a 10-inch in clear and light smoke. So I would say that Clockworks still has a business, right? They're going to still be able to produce windshields for these new Harleys. And I'm sure we'll see some great stuff from Clockworks. For whatever reason, if it's EPA or government or whatever, Harley never offers a bigger windshield with a nice dark smoke. It's always becomes a real light smoke or a real clear. So you can see that there in the pictures. So a couple of windshields right out of the gate. Saddlebag guards. So again, we noticed the bike doesn't come with saddlebag guards on the side that protects the saddlebag should you lean the bike, or the bike should fall over. So they're offering those. Obviously the bag shape is a different design, so the mount's got to be a different design. So they're offering those saddlebag guards because that will be a different shape. And then color matched luggage accessories. Add capacity with the King Tour Pack, the Chop Tour Pack in the matching colors for your bike. So we've seen that with each CVO. You can always get that on the back and it's color matched. So that was the other article that was released. And at the bottom of these articles, they give you the pictures as I've been showing you. So great little tip, right? The Media Kit website. So I put the links in this description. Check those out. I'm going to certainly bookmark them and check in for news as we move forward. And there we go. So that is all the latest information I have. I wanted to get out and share it with you. Really anxious to see what the turn signals do on the street light. If anyone can find a video on that, or maybe Robert Simmons or the Cycle Fanatics can give us a hint whether those look like when they blink, because I don't see a video from either one of them. And I think they're the only two non-Harley employees to get their hands on this bike yet. So if one of those YouTubers could help us out, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, again, I really want to thank you for the support. It's been great having you on my journey. Consider subscribing, and I'll keep posting everything I learn, and hopefully we'll have a bike here before too long to play with in person. So until next time, in the Friction Zone.